Welcome children. So here we are going to begin with our new lesson, which is the age of the Guptas. The age of the Guptas. Before we proceed towards the lesson, I would just go through the reduced syllabus. The syllabus includes the sources. There are two sources. One, literary source, which is the account of Fahim, and second one is the archaeological source, which is Allahabad Pillar inscription. Okay, and along with that you are going to learn about the contribution in three fields. First one is in the field of education. In the field of education we will be learning about Nalanda University. You will learn about the contribution in the field of science, where you will be learning the contribution of Aryabhatta. And at last we will be learning about culture, where you will be going through two things. First one is the work of the literary works of Kalidas, and second one we will be learning about Devghar temple. Okay. So now we are going to begin with the sources first. Okay. Well, you need to know and keep it in your mind properly that this is history. Okay, history is what? Whatever is in the past. We are learning from the present about the past. Okay, when historians do the researches also, when they try to get the information about that period, okay, let it be 6th century, okay, or 5th century, naturally they cannot move to the 6th or the 5th century. Okay, so what they have to do is they have to search for the sources, okay, which will give them information about that period. These sources can be literary sources, some written texts, or these can be archaeological sources. Archaeological sources means like monuments or pillars, buildings, temples, anything. These come under your archaeological sources. Okay, so the age of the Gupta, here we will study two sources. Okay, first I'll move towards the literary source. A Chinese visitor known as Fahim, he had visited India during the reign of Chandragupta II. Okay, when he came to India, he had seen many things in the administration of the Gupta Empire, and whatever he saw in the during his period of stay in India, he had written all those things in his book. His literary work is known as Fokoki. Okay, so that is known as the Fokoki. Okay, from the account of Fahim, okay, whatever he saw, okay, he has tried to give that information through his text. In his textbook, this book, that means Fokoki, he has mentioned about the life of the people, okay, and also the religious conditions, that means how the people led a social life, also what kind of religions were followed during that time, okay, during those early years. According to this book, he mentions, as I told you, that he had come during the reign of Chandragupta II. Okay, Magadha is present day Bihar. Okay, at that time it was known as Magadha. So Magadha was a very prosperous country, we can say. So Magadha, because that is a kingdom. Okay, that was not a state like India is a country now and Bihar is a state. It was a country, that means a kingdom of that time. So therefore Magadha was a very rich and prosperous country with many large towns, and also its population was also very high. Okay, at that time the capital was Rajgriha. Okay, Rajgriha was the earlier capital of Magadha, but was later the capital was changed to be Patliputra, which is present day Patna. Okay, Patna, as it lies on the banks of river Ganga, so therefore the trading and communication was very convenient from Patliputra. Therefore, Patliputra or Patna became the capital city of of Magadha. Okay, that means the empire, the Gupta Empire. So, especially of Magadha. Here, the people, those who were living in Patliputra, they were also very wealthy people because trade and commerce both were flourishing during that period. Okay. Then, not only this, but different kinds of, in this city, the city was quite developed. Okay. It had many kinds of hospitals also for the treatment of the people, good hospitals which were present over there. Now, Fahim does not only speak about the social life or the religious life of the people, but also he speaks about the culture of the people. Okay, that means he says over here that even if the people were wealthy, that means they had a lot of wealth, but still they lived very simple lives. Okay, mostly the people were Buddhist followers. Not only this, and they used to follow this Buddhist code of conduct. You all have studied the Buddhist code of conduct in Jainism and Buddhism. Okay, so they usually followed their Buddhist code of conduct. That means Dhamma were followed by them. Then, not only this, but he also mentioned that usually Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Buddhism. Vaishnavism means what? That means the people were the worshippers of Lord Vishnu. Secondly, Shaivism. Shaivism means they were the worshippers of Lord Shiva. Okay. Along with that, Buddhism and Jainism were also practiced in the country. But though these were different religions which were being practiced by the people, but the people, they had unity among themselves. Okay, they had no distinction among themselves in these sects, in these sections. Okay, then people, they did not have any kind of ill feelings for each other. Fahim also said over here that Hindu gods and goddesses were depicted on the coins of, and even in the sculptures and paintings, okay, which were made around in the kingdom. Okay, then he was very happy with the mildness that was there in the administration, in the Gupta administration. He speaks about the administration here, that the administration, the legal code, the rules and regulations, they were very mild, and even the people were punished usually with the fines. That means they had to pay fines over here if they made any kind of mistakes for their offenses usually. Okay, from his account, what information do we get? From his account, we get the information that the Gupta Empire was very prosperous and was governed on the enlightened principles. Okay. Second thing that we are going to come forward is with the archaeological sources. When we are discussing about the archaeological source, we will mention about the Allahabad pillar inscription. Before I move forward, I'll tell you the meaning of this inscription. Inscription means something which is written, okay, in order as remembrance, okay, in order to remind the people, okay, remind the people about what? About the achievements, about the great things that the rulers usually did at that time. The study of this inscription is called as epigraphy. Okay, this inscriptions can be written anywhere. It can be written on the walls of the temples. It can be written somewhere on the pillars. Okay, so here we are going to study about the Allahabad pillar inscription. Okay, that means the inscriptions which have been written on the Allahabad pillar. This Allahabad pillar inscription is one of the most epigraphic as I mentioned, that the study of this inscriptions, okay, that is what is epigraphy. So this is one of the most epigraphic work, okay, or evidence of the Gupta rulers, okay. different kinds of achievements. As I told you that people, in order to their generations and also the coming rulers to remember that what have their previous rulers done, they used to construct these kind of things and also wrote inscriptions on them. Okay, so different kinds of achievements that have been made by the Gupta rulers, that has been written on this Allahabad pillar. Okay, then it also gives us the description of the reign and the conquest which was made by Samudragupta. Samudragupta was one of the renowned and famous Gupta ruler, okay, who had made different conquests, many large conquests in the Gupta empire. Okay, historians, they usually, both the ancient historians as well as the modern historians, both of them, they have considered the value of the Allahabad pillar. Okay, now this Allahabad pillar inscriptions, they give us great, or you can say pretty impressive knowledge about the kings, information about the kings, about the tribal republics that were conquered by Samudragupta. So this is all about the sources. The rest of the part of this lesson we will be continuing in the next part of the video. Okay, so thank you.